Every 2 months, I do a Patreon supporter Q&A. By putting $1 into the tip jar, you get to ask a question and have your name scroll along the bottom here. So, if you want to get in on the fun, head over to patreon.com/HelloGreedo. The first question is a political one. Martin Deff asks, what are your thoughts on the presidential debates? I think they are really entertaining to watch just because they are so ridiculous, which also makes the whole thing very messed up since both candidates focus more on attacking each other personally instead of discussing possible solutions to the real issues. You're right, it's pretty ridiculous. It goes pretty deep though. I'm not a fan of the two-party system at all. I mean, just look at the Commission on Presidential Debates. It is an independent nonprofit corporation that is sponsored by the Democrats and the Republicans. They control the debate. In 2000, the CPD ruled that a candidate must poll at 15% to even get into a national debate. I understand why that makes sense. I get it. You can't just have anybody on YouTube with a video that says, I'm running for president on the stage in a national debate. It would be a waste of time and it would be a shit show. But when the body that decides who will participate in the presidential debates is funded by the two largest parties, well, that raises some questions. It kind of monopolizes the democratic process. And yeah, the attacks are goofy. I mean, there are plenty of reasons to attack both candidates. But it gets tiring, and it makes me want to not even watch the debates. It just gets embarrassing. Anyway, I'm a registered independent. There are issues that I fall very left on, and some issues that I fall very right on. I do not understand the mindset of a political party cheerleader. It's basically tribalism. This is my tribe. This is my team. I will never question my team. My team is the best. Go team! The balloons drop and everyone cheers like they're at a fucking Beatles concert. If you're not willing to question your own views, or even have a conversation with somebody who has differing views than you, if you want to sit in a safe space with your hands over your ears, or go to thisagreeswitheverythingialreadythink.com, eradicating any form of rational debate or civil discussion, then you're not growing as a person. You're living in a fishbowl, in a bubble, going around in circles, not absorbing any new information. I'm kind of going on a tangent here, but I really hate when people pick a team, never question that team, always agree with that team, and are so steadfast in their tribalism that they have blinders on. And whenever I say stuff like this, inevitably people think I'm talking specifically about one of the parties, which is a problem, which goes back to people assuming that everything negative automatically goes to the other guy, the other party that they don't associate with. It's all parties. It's all sides. But if you want to know where my heart lies in this election, you just have to listen to Sam Harris talk about Donald Trump. Seriously, go listen to him talk about Donald Trump. It's great. Paul Robinson asks, hey, as a fellow survivor of Hurricane Matthew, and a tourist at that, I wonder just how do you prepare for such things, and was it scary? I live in Northeast Florida. We've had our fair share of tropical storms and hurricanes over the years. Most people don't take them very serious. People always talk about how the media ramps up the fear and makes it sound worse than it will be, which, yeah, that's the case most of the time. But I think most people took Hurricane Matthew serious. It was a hell of a lot bigger and stronger than this region has had in a very, very long time. When it comes to preparation, this time around I filled up my freezer with ice. I had 3 coolers on standby for when we lost power. I bought a hand crank and solar powered radio, which also doubled as a flashlight. Actually, it tripled as a flashlight, a radio, and a phone charger. It's a pretty useful, nifty little device. It was only $20. I moved all of our potted plants and whatnot inside the garage, stocked up on water and non-perishables. My wife made a big batch of chicken salad and pasta salad that we ate on while we didn't have power. There was a shitload of downed trees in my neighborhood, most of which fell on power lines. So we didn't have power for 4 days. It might sound weird, but I kind of liked not having power. Those 4 days were kind of nice. All the windows open, no TV, no internet, just candles, Scrabble, and semi-cold beer. And to answer the second part of your question, Paul, the only reason this storm, for me, was more scary than past storms is that I own a house now, and there's a big ass oak tree in my yard, and I just bought a new car. So I was more scared for the house and the car. Luckily, we didn't have any damage, just a lot of branches and debris to clean up the next day. Ricard Astro Akerstrand asks, what standalone Star Wars movie would you like to see? Ooh, that's a tough one. You know, I think I'd want to see a standalone movie that is completely independent of anything that has taken place in the Star Wars universe thus far. Like, I don't really want or need a Boba Fett movie. I don't want or need a Han Solo movie or an Obi-Wan Kenobi movie or a Yoda movie. I'd rather have a movie that takes place somewhere in the timeline of the original trilogy, but with characters and scenarios that we've never heard of, and that don't really impact the overall storyline of the episodic films. Does that make sense? Like a smaller scale movie that maybe focuses on a small group of smugglers or bounty hunters or something. Their story doesn't impact or lead into any of the other films, but it would be fun to see something like that. In my head, I'm thinking of Firefly. Random missions, chance encounters, butting heads. I think that would be a lot of fun to see. Maybe it would fit more with a TV series. But yeah, that's kind of what I want. I don't know if that makes any sense at all. Scott Collins asks, are you currently active with the 501st Legion, and would you make your own Mando armor? I am. Not as active as I'd like to be, but I am. And would I make Mando armor? Probably not. I have a full set of A New Hope Stormtrooper stunt armor, and having that armor was the dream. It was really the only costume that I really wanted for years and years. I don't really have a desire to build a Mando set of armor, but that's just me. But if I was going to build another costume, I think I would go for a biker scout. The movie critic dude asks, what do you think of the DC live-action TV shows like Green Arrow, The Flash, and Supergirl, as well comparing it to the DC Extended Universe films? I can't really say much about the DC shows or movies. The only show that I've seen, and I've only seen a few episodes, is The Flash. But from what I saw, it was really good. I have a bad habit of starting shows and not finishing them, especially when the series is still going on. Like my wife and I recently finished The Sopranos, which is probably my favorite show of all time. We binge-watched the entire series over a couple months, but I have a hard time keeping up with shows that come out episodically week to week. I like diving into an already completed series and binging the hell out of it. And as far as the DC movies go, and I'm solely talking about the newer ones, not the original Superman movies or the Dark Knight trilogy, but the newer ones, I just can't get into them, which is a bummer. Superman is my favorite superhero. I hated Man of Steel. You all know I don't use the word hate lightly. I watched some of Batman vs. Superman and ended up turning it off. I'm really not a fan of the direction they're taking the DC movies. Oh well. Jean-Pierre Genoui asks, my question regards the upcoming Han Solo movie, my all-time favorite Star Wars character, may he rest in peace, or be at one with the Force. I would love to see Han win over the Falcon against Lando and maybe get to see the Kessel Run. Come to think of it, Han never explicitly said that he made the Kessel Run. He said the Falcon was the ship that made the Kessel Run in less than... ... Also, I guess there won't be any Jedi or Force-sensitive beings, as Han stated in A New Hope that he never witnessed something that made him believe in the Force. Interesting observations, some that I never even thought about. I have a feeling we'll see Lando and Han interact a lot in the standalone movie. I could be wrong, but that seems like something they would do, and I honestly wouldn't mind seeing it. The two of them could have a fantastic chemistry, and we could see the beginning of their relationship. And we could see that relationship wither away when Han wins the Falcon. When it comes to the Kessel Run, I don't really know if I want to see that on the big screen. I kind of like the mysterious nature of it. The Kessel Run is one of those lines of dialogue that is almost too cool to put in a movie, you know? It would almost ruin the mystery of it all. As far as I know, we've never seen the Kessel Run. We've only heard it talked about or mentioned and somewhat explained, and I think it should stay that way. Not everything that is previously mentioned needs to be explained or detailed or explored in a movie. Some things are better left to the imagination, to the mystery. I do have a feeling that there will be a good amount of callbacks in the Han Solo standalone movie, but I hope not. I want some new stuff. I want new reasons to love this character. Jocelyn Troy asks, for the new trilogy, Disney has decided to hire 3 different directors which was the case for the original trilogy. At the time, I guess George, along with Kasdan and Kurtz, had the story decision power, being the writers and producers throughout the trilogy. In your opinion, who has this power for the new trilogy? Abrams, Trevorrow, Kennedy, Disney? Do you think the whole story is written? Very interesting question. I think Disney has the power over the story, but I don't see them being the typical mingling executives. I think Disney trusts their writers enough to let them come up with their own ideas and not meddle too much in the creative process. I could be completely wrong about that. I might be too positive about all that, but who knows? Overall, the way it seems to me at least, is that the quote-unquote power belongs to the collaboration process. There are a lot of people with a lot of ideas, a lot of cooks in the kitchen. I think Disney recognizes that collaboration is key for the future success of the franchise. And as far as the whole story already being written out, and of course this is pure speculation, but I don't think they had the new trilogy's story written out when they started on The Force Awakens. Maybe they had a general idea as to where they wanted it to go, but I don't think it was completely figured out until somewhere in the production or post-production process of TFA. I'm sure it's all written out now, of course. I'm sure they have a pretty good idea of where it's going to go. Brent Hazelton asks, what's your opinion on the Old Republic game trailers? They are incredible. I don't think I've ever talked about them on this channel before. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't play the game anymore, but these cinematic trailers are fantastic. The most recent one, Knights of the Eternal Throne, is so well done. An awesome story without very much dialogue at all. It makes me want to see a full animated Old Republic movie made by whoever is making these trailers. It actually makes me want to play the game again. But Battlefield 1 is coming out in a few days, and that will consume my life for a good while. Don Boring asks, I was curious to know if you were going to do any other Star Wars commentaries. I loved The Force Awakens commentary. I do plan on doing more commentaries. I'd like to do the original trilogy next to make a commentary track for each movie, and then I'd like to do a commentary track for each of the prequel movies with a friend of mine. I talked to him about it, and I think he's up for it. We'd get a case of beer, sit on the couch with some microphones rolling. I think that would be a lot of fun. That requires some coordination and putting some time on our schedule. But yeah, plan on getting a commentary track for A New Hope in the near future. Kevin Vandy asks, do you think that a prequel movie could ever turn out well? I've heard rumors that Disney is considering making a movie that focuses on a younger Yoda. I would like a movie about that era of Star Wars, but I'm not sure that would be a good way to go about it. What are your thoughts on the future of Star Wars anthology stories? I think a movie that takes place in any era of Star Wars could turn out well. As long as the movie is fun, engaging, has good characters that we care about, and an interesting story, yeah, any timeline of Star Wars could be made into a good movie. But, and I said this about a lot of the Star Wars movie ideas floating around, I don't want to see the same characters we already know rehashed and re-examined. If we're going to have a prequel movie, I want completely new characters. Just because Yoda would technically be alive at a certain period of time doesn't mean the movie needs to have Yoda in it. There is an endless amount of stories to be told in this universe, and an endless amount of new interesting characters to explore. I think the focus should be on creating and not reusing. But yeah, I'd love to see a prequel movie, as long as it's fun. Quarks Ralsma asks, what is your favorite Star Wars fan theory? My favorite fan theory is without a doubt the one about Boba Fett killing Aunt Beru and Uncle Owen. If you haven't looked into this theory before, be sure to do so, it's interesting. I mean, there's some validity to any fan theory, right? Sometimes people put puzzle pieces together that shouldn't really fit together, but usually there's something compelling and interesting about the theory that's presented. So yeah, my favorite fan theory is that Boba Fett killed Luke's aunt and uncle. Luke asks, have you ever seen any of the Alien movies? If so, which one is your favorite? I have. I saw the first one when I was like 6 years old. The first and second ones are some of my favorite science fiction films ever. I have the anthology on Blu-ray, but my favorite one is definitely the first one, Alien. It's just so creepy. It's a horror movie, really. There's something about that gritty future that pulls me in. I love it. Everything is used and abused. Things are futuristic, but rudimentary at the same time. Ash, the android, is so awesome. The alien itself, it's sparingly used, like in Jaws. It makes it more creepy. We don't see it too much. The movie is just too good. The sequel, Aliens, is one of the best sequels. They take the original Alien, turn the dial to 100, drop in some space marines, and let it rip. Both movies are so different, but so awesome, and they don't feel disconnected from one another at all. Matthias Toth asks, are you planning on making a Return of the Retro about Star Wars Galactic Battlegrounds? Yep, I actually bought it on Steam not too long ago. I haven't installed it yet, but it's definitely on my list of games to do an episode about. The next episode of Return of the Retro will actually be on Star Wars Rebel Assault 1 and 2. I completely forgot those games existed until about a week ago. The first one came out in 93, the second one came out in 95. When I rediscovered them, it was like opening up a high school yearbook. Oh hey, I remember that. Oh wow, I forgot about that. I cannot wait to get that episode made. Rebel Assault 1 kind of sucks, but 2 was a lot of fun. Daniel Marino asks, since you like space, what is your opinion on Gravity, the movie with Sandra Bullock? And what is your opinion on Children of Men? Gravity is like going on an amusement park ride. It's a big spectacle that will throw you around, and you'll have a lot of fun going on it. There's not too much substance, the characters are alright, but I don't think it's meant to really be watched for its story or its characters. It's just a big movie in space where everything goes wrong and you can grab some popcorn and zone out for a few hours. I really enjoyed it. I actually own it on Blu-ray. It's a very pretty movie. Children of Men, if I'm being honest, I don't really remember it. I think I've only seen it once. I need to watch it again, but yeah, I don't remember much about it. Just that women can't have babies, and there's one woman who is pregnant, and they're trying to get her to somewhere. I can't really remember, or something like that. Yeah, I need to watch it again. Brandon Maltz asks, since you have the new Greedo mask, will you eventually go back to wearing that, or continue to use the Stormtrooper bucket? Oh yeah, I haven't announced it on this channel yet. I have shown pictures of my new Greedo mask on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, but I don't think I've talked about it on this channel. I had a friend of mine who I actually met through the channel come in town, and him and his wife stayed with me and my wife, and as a gift for letting him stay, he bought me a new Dawn Post Greedo mask. It's incredible. Too nice of him, too nice. I do plan on using the mask a lot on the channel. I have to figure out where to incorporate it, but I think I'm gonna stick with the Stormtrooper helmet. It's become the icon of this channel. I absolutely will use the Greedo mask, but I think I'll use it as little cameos here and there, for little fun skits. I'm not too sure when I'll start using it, but it'll definitely happen in the near future. Thanks for all the questions, guys, and thank you so much to all the supporters. The channel survives because of you. I'm looking forward to the next Q&A in 2 months. Hello Greedo, out.